Arizona State softball loses 2 of 3 in Palo Alto and snaps its 20-game winning streak against the Cardinal. More on how they can bounce back.
The transfer portal continues to heat up with a number of basketball and football players parting ways with ASU. Jake Seymour will have more.
Tia Reed has the story on ASU lacrosse, all that and more on the season finale of Cronkite Sports Live. Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Ethan Tuttle, joined alongside Sammy Miller. Sammy, it's a little bittersweet this time around because it's the season finale of Cronkite Sports Live.
Ethan, I'm so sad that the season is coming to a close, but let's kick off the show with some ASU baseball. So it was ASU versus the UNLV Rebels. This is actually the second time they're meeting this season. The Rebels took the first game in March. So we have Joe Lampe up to bat. He would have a home run, making it 1-0 ASU. But after that, the Sun Devils would not find too much success offensively. Now we're going to head to the third inning. It is Braden Murphy. He has a ground out, but brings in Joey Walls for a run, making it 3-1 UNLV. Still at top of the third, Eric Pagani with a single, bringing in his teammate Williams to make it 5-1 the Rebels. Top of the sixth, we have Eric Pagani. He's going to hit a 2 RBI double, bringing in Hank Ziegler and Adrian Williams to make it 9-1, which is the last scoring of the game. Now we're heading to the seventh inning. We have Nate Baez, who is going to ground it into a 6-4-3 double play. ASU was just unable to get into a rhythm all game long. Now we have Sean McLean. He's going to hit it right to the UNLV first baseman, who has a leaping grab across his body. Bottom of the ninth, it's the big strikeout, and ASU would end up losing 9-1. Big time loss, but head coach Willie Bloomquist has more on the loss for his Sun Devils.
I thought it was downright pathetic. We met before the game, talked about the importance of tonight and every game moving forward from here on out. I expected a sense of urgency from our guys, and it wasn't there. I don't know where it was. With how well and how much we've battled and grinded, given any obstacle that we've been faced the past 3 or 4 weeks, tonight was embarrassing.
The Sun Devils look to put this loss behind them and shift their focus to the 13th ranked team in the country, UCLA. For more on the Bruins, our Kevin Malater breaks down why UCLA has found so much success this season.
The UCLA Bruins have always been one of the top teams in the Pac-12 when it comes to the sport of baseball, and that's no different this weekend as they come into a 3-game set with the Sun Devils, ranked in the top 16 across all the major polls. UCLA is arguably one of the best pitching staffs in the entire conference, as they rank in either first or second in every major statistical category, which includes a conference-leading team run average of 3.35, which is 47 points lower than the second-best staff in the pack. And they also have 3 starters who ASU could potentially see this weekend that could be trouble for the Sun Devils. The combination of Max Rajek along with Jake Brooks and Kelly Austin have combined for an earned run average of 3.49 and have started 30 of the team's 40 games played. On the offensive side of things, the Bruins carry 5 hitters that bat above 275, which includes 2 guys towards the top half of their order. Cody Shear, who bats 315 in the leadoff spot, and Kyle Karras, who's batting 321 in the heart of the order. This 3-game set will not be an easy task for ASU, but if they want to come away with a successful trip to LA, they're going to have to slow down those hot Bruin bats while solving the UCLA rotation. Back to you guys in the studio.
After an improbable 20-game win streak finally came to an end this past weekend for ASU softball, the question now is, what comes next? To answer that question and to break down more ASU softball, I have WCSN reporter Riley Swenson alongside to discuss the final stretch of softball for the Sun Devils. Riley, what happened in that series against Stanford? I mean, ASU rolled into Palo Alto on a 20-game win streak, but Stanford shut them down. What was the key to their success?
Yeah, ASU just never got the bats going. They scored a combined 6 runs in 3 games, and luckily they were able to pull out a win on Saturday. But Stanford's a good team. When you win 20 in a row, eventually the luck's going to run out, and the Pac-12 is a good conference. They're playing good teams week in, week out, and Stanford just got the best of them last weekend.
And now with just 9 games remaining on the season, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule and the road ahead for the Sun Devils. We see a tough series against UCLA and Washington on the way. What's at stake in these final few series heading into NCAA regionals for the Sun Devils?
Yeah, UCLA is a big series. They're at 13-2 right now in the conference, as is ASU. So if they're able to get by Cal, that could set up a big series next week. And then, of course, at Washington, they're ranked number 9 in the country, also sitting atop that Pac-12 race. And so a couple of big series after that, they have to get by Cal. But if they are able to beat UCLA and Washington, a couple of ranked opponents, they'll set themselves up for almost certainly hosting a regional and maybe even possibly a super regional beyond that.
Yeah, and we can talk all we want about UCLA and Washington coming up. But before we jump the gun, Riley, what do the Sun Devils have to do to take care of business this weekend against the Cal Bears? Yeah,
Cal's a solid team. And D1 softball, their latest bracket update, they had Cal the first 4 out. So they're on the outside looking into that tournament. They want in just like everybody else. They'll be motivated. They have wins over Washington. They have wins over Stanford. So they're a solid team, and ASU certainly can't overlook them and look forward to that UCLA series. But if ASU is able to get the bats going again, able to play what they were during that 20-game win streak, they should be all right, and it should set up a monster series next week at home against UCLA, which should be essentially the Pac-12 championship series between those two teams.
All right, well, thank you so much, Riley, for your great insight. For most athletes in college, their goal is to take their talents to the next level, and last night at the NFL Draft, 4 Pac-12 players were picked in the first round. Our Scott Sanduli has more on how these athletes performed in college and what they can bring to the NFL.
With the 2022 NFL Draft now underway in Las Vegas, 4 of the players from the Pac-12 Conference heard their name called in the first round on Thursday, officially trading in their college colors for a new league look. The first alum to hear their name called was Oregon defensive end Kayvon Thibodeau when he was selected 5th overall by the New York Giants. In a draft full of edge-rushing talent, Thibodeau brings the strongest physical traits among the group. With a wicked first step and acceleration in the backfield, Thibodeau closely resembles 6-time Pro Bowler Khalil Mack as a power rusher with some work to do out of the draft. But he's a sky's-the-limit kind of player who the Giants could anchor their defense around for years to come. On the offensive side, USC wideout Drake London came off the board at number 8 when the Atlanta Falcons made him their new top weapon. Arguably the best pure athlete in this year's draft, London uses his massive 6'5" frame to get to balls that corners can't, as his 19 contested catches in just 8 games last season suggest. However, it's London's ability to shed tacklers after the catch and play in both the slot and perimeter that makes him special, kind of like 4-time All-Pro and Super Bowl champion Mike Evans. If London can accelerate quicker off the line and create separation downfield, he can become one of the most unstoppable pass catchers in the league. With the 21st pick, the Kansas City Chiefs traded up to get the newest product of the Washington defensive back factory in Trent Mcduffie. As a 3-year starter, Mcduffie was shut down, allowing 0 touchdowns over his last 2 years. What he lacks in frame is made up for with soft hands and great body control, which mirrors the playstyle of another former Husky who plays above his size in Marcus Peters. McDuffie's high football IQ should make an immediate impact on one of the league's top teams. The 2021 Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year and Utah linebacker Devin Lloyd is widely seen as the top linebacker in this year's class, and for good reason. The anchor of the conference champion defense has the intangibles and physicality to step in day 1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who selected him at pick 27. As a sideline-to-sideline player, Lloyd stuffs the stat sheet in multiple facets of the game, much like unit anchor Levante David. As a do-it-all linebacker, Lloyd could be the most productive rookie among this year's class. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Scott Sanduli.
Thanks, Scott. We've yet to see any Sun Devils get drafted, but players like Rashad White, Chase Lucas, and others are awaiting that special phone call. However, for players still competing at the collegiate level, we've got some more breaking news regarding transfers. Redshirt sophomore wide receiver Unlv Bunkley-Shelton announced that he would be entering the transfer portal with the departure of Ricky Pearsall. Bunkley-Shelton was in the running to be one of the Sun Devils' go-to wide receivers before his announcement. Redshirt senior offensive lineman Spencer Lovell and redshirt freshman center Ezra Dotson-Oyate have also entered the portal. It is not just ASU football that is dealing with many of their players heading to the portal. Men's basketball also has players leaving the Valley and heading to new destinations. Jay Heath, Will Felton, Justin Rochlin, and Damari Williams are looking to leave the program, but the Sun Devils have been able to bring in a handful of new players from the portal. For more on that, here's Jake Seymour.
Arizona State men's basketball's offseason has just started, but the program has seen more than its fair share of action in the transfer portal. So far, the Sun Devils have seen 5 players enter the portal in hopes of finding a home away from Tempe. While ASU head coach Bobby Hurley has seen 5 players depart from his program, he's been busy acquiring players from the portal. Warren Washington arrives in Tempe after playing 3 seasons in Nevada. Washington uses his 7-foot stature to his advantage by playing in the paint, which allowed him to play bully ball. Joining Washington from Nevada is Wolfpack teammate Desmond Cambridge. Cambridge was one of Nevada's leading scorers, averaging 16.2 points per game, but where Cambridge excels is his ability to shoot the long ball. Last season, the 6'4" guard shot 37% from deep, which earned him a selection on the All-Mountain West third team. Desmond's twin brother, Devin Cambridge, will also wear maroon and gold this upcoming season. Devin's 6'6" frame allows him to raise up and dunk the ball with authority. He's played the last 3 seasons at Auburn, where he's gained valuable experience in the NCAA tournament. Despite all the movement ASU has seen from the portal, it wouldn't be out of the question to see more action this summer. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for keeping us in the loop with everything happening in the portal, Jake. A lot of moving pieces to keep an eye on there. ASU men's golf has also been on the move recently as they went wheels up en route to Seattle for the Pac-12 championships this week. Entering the tournament, ASU had recorded top 5 finishes in its past 4 tournaments. We have all the highlights from this week's action. It was a fun one. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Here out at Aldera Golf Club in Seattle, Mason Anderson, the graduate student on hole 9. Just his first shot here from 150 out. You're gonna wanna keep your eyes glued to the screen. You see it bounce back, and then it just starts to roll right down that little ledge into the hole. Terrific shot there, and a terrific hole-in-one for Mason Anderson. Later on, James Liao on hole 12 pops it out of that wet rough and just snakes it right down into the hole. A terrific shot there and a great birdie for Liao. Later on, Jose Le Ballester with his approach shot here as he's just looking to set himself up for an easy birdie attempt. He does exactly that as he was 2 under at this point, 3 under after that one. Just a great job there. He would end up finishing in 4th place. Mason Anderson back for some more here with his second shot. It's another approach. Once again on the right side of that flagstick, trickles it down there and leaves himself an easy 6-foot birdie opportunity. He'll clean that up on 14 and move to 1 under. He would finish in 10th at the Pac-12 championships. Preston Summerhays, another freshman who's been killing it recently, gets a birdie right here. He would finish in 4th place, helping the Sun Devils to a 3rd place finish.
The beach volleyball Pac-12 championships is always an exciting time filled with some of the best volleyball in the country. Yesterday, ASU faced 2 tough competitors, Washington and Arizona, getting wins over both. Let's take a look at how it all went down yesterday in Tucson. So to start off, we have Maddie Salazar and Taryn Ames for the Sun Devils. Senior Salazar putting the ball away, and that would secure the first point of the duel against the Washington Huskies. Now to court number 2, we have Lila Bordas and Anya Pemberton. Pemberton is just a freshman, but she is really making her name for herself in not only this tournament, but the season as a whole. We have Pemberton with the dig and putting the ball away. It just sneaks inside the line, and they're going to get the second point of the duel. Let's head to court number 3. We have Riley Kale and Sarah Waters. The Huskies are trying to put the ball away, but the ball goes out, and this would secure the ASU win 3-0 over the Huskies. Now let's go to the rival territory. It's the Wildcats versus Sun Devils. Sierra Flood going up and barely gets that ball over, and they would head into the second set with Sierra Flood and Lexi Sweeney, her partner, diving to get the ball. Flood with the amazing effort. It trickles over, and this is going to allow them to get into a 3rd set. And right there, Sweeney with the ace, securing the huge win over the very talented ones pair for the Wildcats. Now let's head over to Riley Kale and Sarah Waters. Kale with the set and Waters with the tight cut shot. And that point right there would secure the Sun Devils win 3-1 over the Wildcats. And this morning, the Sun Devils' run in the Pac-12 tournament came to a close with a loss against Cal. ASU battled until the very end, but the Golden Bears' athleticism and consistent offense is what led them to winning and advancing in the bracket. With this loss, the Sun Devils end their season with a 17-15 record, which is their 2nd highest win total in program history.
Thanks for the update on volleyball, Sammy. Just a week away from the Pac-12 tournament, and ASU women's lacrosse is geared up and set to take on the Cal Bears in Game 1 of the tournament on May the 4th. The Sun Devils have already taken on an empire of teams like Stony Brook, Michigan, and Northwestern. Now the young Sun Devils will prepare for their biggest battle yet, Pac-12 championships. Tia Reed has more on Arizona State lacrosse.
From multiple top 25 wins to program firsts and a multi-week stay in the top 25, ASU lacrosse is arguably experiencing its best season yet. It was just 5 years ago that current 5th years Maddie Hunter and Emily Gladleff and 6th year Carly Adams were among the first few chosen to get this program off the ground. Others still left behind from the inaugural team are Maria Volanti, Leah Willis, Kylie Kroger, and Emma Carlson.
I think the idea of being one of the first people to the first class of a team was really kind of intriguing to me. Getting to start, sort of build the foundation was something that I found pretty interesting.
Out of the gates, several freshmen experienced worlds of individual success. High school All-American Emily Gladleff was second in points amongst the Sun Devil squad her freshman year and quickly rose to the forefront of the program, breaking records and making history along the way.
It is definitely kind of weird. It's almost kind of funny. Definitely the first season, it was kind of every game was oh, new record, just because we were breaking our own record.
While Gladleff was hot right out of the gates, other freshmen needed a little more time to develop. Carly Adams wasn't always a superstar that she is now. During her time at ASU, she has transitioned from a role player to being capable of making waves on a national level.
I think I took every opportunity as okay, you have to do this. This has to be a 1-for-1, you have to be perfect. And then once you get past that and realize that none of that matters, you're capable of it, I think I started believing in myself.
With all that these athletes have experienced, it's no surprise that ASU lacrosse is beginning to find its way. This season, ASU had its best finish in the Pac-12 at 3rd. They also beat Stanford for the first time in program history, knocked off 3 top 25 teams, including number 14 Rutgers, and held the program's longest stay in the top 25, none of which would have been possible without this group who's been here from the start.
What they've done and the legacy that they've left behind, it will stay in this program forever. They have a tremendous amount of belief in each other, in this program, and that will be remembered.
It's clear that the impact of this class will be remembered within the program forever, and the lessons learned from being a Sun Devil won't be forgotten.
Being on this team, I guess, has really just taught me to be grateful for everything, for the ups and the downs, the in-betweens, for the girls and the relationships I've built, and our amazing coaching staff, the environment we're placed in and everything. I just think it's just all about being grateful.
Although emotions were running high after the final regular season game, this year's senior class still has some unfinished business. Starting May 4th, ASU will host the Pac-12 championship tournament right back in Tempe. For this year's senior class, will look to bring home ASU's first ever lacrosse conference championship. A good showing in the conference tournament could equal ASU's first ever NCAA tournament berth. It remains to be seen if this team has what it takes to get the job done. But for now, reporting for Cronkite Sports, I'm Tia Reed.
Thanks, Tia, for giving us a look into what ASU women's lacrosse is all about. It'll be exciting to see how far the Sun Devils will go in the Pac-12 tournament starting next week. And now we shift our focus to the women's water polo team, whose season just ended. Our Sean Brennan has more on one of the standouts in the pool, freshman attacker Vonda Boschka, who has a very promising future ahead.
Saturday's match against Indiana concluded Arizona State water polo's 2022 regular season. It also capped off an outstanding campaign for freshman attacker Vonda Boschka. In her first season with the Sun Devils, Boschka led the team with 73 goals and 49 assists for a grand total of 122 points, the most scored by a freshman in program history. And despite Boschka's outstanding offensive numbers, interim head coach Petra Porti said that what impresses her the most about the freshman is her talent on both ends of the pool.
She's a very unique player in the sense that very few lefties that you come across are also very strong defensively, and she comes from a very tactically sound background. She's very tactically sound and her skill level is amazing. So she's very unique in that sense that she's not just a force on offense but also just as much on defense for us.
Boschka's strong two-way game has greatly benefited Arizona State defensively, as her 35 steals are the second most on the team. However, this season has also presented some challenges for the freshman phenom. A native of Hungary, Boschka is accustomed to the more physical style of water polo played in Europe. This resulted in her being penalized often this season. as she currently has the most exclusions on the team with 51. But Boxa says that she is making progress in her adjustment to the softer style of play in North America.
So I think I'm better and better, but sometimes I have problems with this.
However, these obstacles are outweighed by the impact Boxa has made on ASU water polo. In addition to her dominance in the pool, Coach Party says that her star freshman has helped the water polo program receive more national attention.
Oh, it definitely helps to have a freshman in this class right now that is just, earning one Player of the Week award after the next. It's great visibility for our program, for our team, and I think she's turning a lot of people's eyes.
And while many fans are looking forward to seeing what she can accomplish in the next couple years at ASU, Boxa doesn't want to look too far into the future, but says that no matter what happens, she will always give it her all. From the Mona Plummer Aquatic Center in Tempe, I'm Sean Brennan, Cronkite Sports.
Thanks, Sean, for everything on Sun Devil water polo. Now it's time for top plays. Here's Joe Lampe in those new threads doing something we're very used to seeing him doing, putting one over the fence. That's his 10th on the year.
And now for number 4, hitting the tennis courts, Sedona Gallagher with the beautiful forehand finish. She's just been electric all season long.
And now we're just going to leave it up to Connor Davis to do the talking on this one as he puts one over the fence against Arizona.
And for number 2, we're heading to ASU Women's Lacrosse. Katie Brodsky breaking ankles out there, and Taylor Pinzone with the goal.
Well, Sammy, I'll tell you what, you hate to go to Tucson once, but we're going to send our audience out there twice, as Joe Lampe once again is going to be making a return on the top plays this week. This time, though, it's not at the plate, it's on the base path as he rounds third base, heading into home. He would end up getting the score, and Arizona State would secure an 8-5 win in that 3-game series against U of A. Man, another terrific set of top plays to end out the show on. Thank you so much.
Whoa, Ethan, we're not done yet. We still have one more segment. Come on.
You're right. Of course, I can't forget about the not top plays. Here are some of the worst looks of the semester. At number 4, Arizona State baseball. Man, this sure isn't a top play as they're getting blown out in Corvallis against Oregon State as the runners would come across. It would be a final score of 21-0. Just embarrassing for the Sun Devils.
And for number 3, we're heading to the football field. We have Paul Tyson, Alabama transfer. He's going for the possible touchdown. Oh, wait, he gets trucked. The camera guy. He has a tough outing at Sun Devil Stadium.
Well, those camera guys, they really do have a tough time. Here's another guy who's going to take a bit of a spill as the cameraman underneath the basket just gets bumped onto the floor by Utah's Booth Gotch. Just a tough look there.
And for number 1, let's set the scene. The Sun Devils, they had a great run in the tournament. They were up against Stanford. It seemed to be the entire game. But, in the first final seconds of the game, Stanford with the buzzer beater. Absolutely heartbreaking for the Sun Devils. They would end up going home, and it was done for ASU.
Those Sun Devils, they'll do it to you. Man, Sammy, thanks so much for saving me on those top plays. Now, before we go for real, is there anything else you want to add on before the end of another great season of Cronkite Sports Live?
Yes, Ethan, with this being our final show of the year, I want to take a moment to thank our incredible seniors. Hunter Hipple, Mac Friday, Gabe Schwartz, Michael Bearball, Gabrielle Ducharme, and a special thank you to our executive producer, Mike McQuaid and Peyton Gallagher, who helped visualize what CSL has become. Thank you for all that you have done for our club, and we wish you nothing but the best. Ethan, it's been an absolute pleasure being with you here at the desk. Thank you to everyone who makes this show possible each and every week. Have a great summer, everyone. We'll see you in August.